Well, and those three things you mentioned, I think that the second if you're starting with zero clients
Yes.
and zero stylists and you're trying to attract clients, you're trying to attract stylists, those first three things I think are really important related to the
Key.
station, the shampoo bowl experience, how fast can we get our clients through, even what is that experience at the bowl for how they're washing hair and things like that. And
Yes.
certainly the storage aspect for your clients too, because like we said, keeping that clutter out of sight, making
Right.
sure people have a place to go with their stuff. But number four that I think we've really locked in on too, because we've had some sort of non-existent spaces for employees
Yeah.
and for renters, is the break room. I mean, I think that's always an overshadowed thing because we've seen a ton of salons.
Yes.
You go to some salons, there's like a curtain that they pull out of the way. You go to other salons, they're sitting out in the stations and they're eating their Jimmy John's or something
Terrible.
like that. And
Not
it's just
luxury.
like
That's not luxury.
that's not luxury. That's not even just that's not I don't even that's shouldn't even be legal to eat in that area. But either way, I've seen it.
Right.
I've seen it all at depending
Yeah.
on what
And
kind
it
of
looks
salon.
terrible now that you know too.
Now I know.
You're more in tune than maybe some other people are, but now that you know, you can't unsee that stuff.
Right.
And I've always known, I've always hated that. I wouldn't want that for me. I don't want to go and eat my sub in the middle of everybody while they're working and they're like,
Right.
"Oh, Amy got a break. Oh, she must have no client." Like this is how our clients talk about us, right? And I just don't need them knowing that. Yeah, I want to have a sandwich, but I don't need a big ordeal about it. So if I want to go in the break room and do that I should be able to.
Right. Well, and it gives you a chance to get off the floor for a minute too. We
Yes.
all need a break if you're doing back-to-back clients or like you said, double booking. That 5 minutes to even get the smallest bite to eat is that space. So even beyond just the food aspect,
Right.
it's just the space. It's the getaway from the chaos of the
Mhm.
floor, especially if you have a full salon. That's really important. And I think that's one thing that people need to think about is, again, if you're like us early on, you were just wired to maximize every square foot, to
Yes.
how many stylists can we jam in this thing with how many clients can we do. And that is how you scale fast. True in some aspects, but it actually slows you down if you don't take into consideration your employees, your renters, and your client experience, because you can actually then raise the bar on
Yes.
what that experience costs, but also getting the right talent in. They're going to notice that right away. I
And
mean,
loyal talent. Maybe
loyal
they'll
talent, sure.
stay. If they like the accommodations, they're going to probably stay with you.
Absolutely.
They're like, I like working here. It is nice. Instead of they get into a situation, they overlook some things and then they don't have room for their stuff. They're going to be looking for the next place. So,
Right.
I mean, we want good stylists. We want loyal stylists because changing stuff out in and out for everybody, that creates more chaos. So,
Right.
if we can get those things from the beginning, get them set right and do it right, you'll have more success in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else on the break room? I mean,
It's just it's a factor that you have to do from the beginning. That is just really something that's super hard to adjust later. I
Right.
mean, we've had a salon like that we purchased and it had a small break room. There's really nowhere to go from there.
Right.
You can't maximize a small break room
Right.
any more than the size that you have. And the break rooms where you store a lot of stuff too. And we're talking about storage, but now this is storage for the whole salon.
Right.
This isn't storage for this stylist, this stylist. This is storage for the salon, which if you have 1,000 square feet or larger salon, you have all the extra things that you're going to need at your space. So if you're doing a towel service, you got all these towels stacked there. If you're not doing a towel service, you have a wash machine and dryer that's in the break room.
Right.
So you have to have a sink in the break room. Just there's all the other things that you have to make sure that it's big enough for. So just accommodate right from the get-go so that you're happy and you don't have to scramble and say, where am I going to put this stuff?
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right. So looking at, I feel like we've maximized the space as far as stations.
Yes.
We've got good throughput as far as getting clients through, keeping our stylists happy with space and a break room. But the big one that also generates revenue is the retail space.
Yes.
And, we talk about this before. Well, should retail space be like the number two thing that we're thinking about to make sure that these lines that need the shelf space or whatever? And I think we've taken a little different approach. Yes, retail is very important to us.
Very important.
People need to sell retail.
Yes.
Like as a salon owner, as a stylist, you need to sell retail. It's one of the things that has always blown my mind is that nobody ever sells retail. For as many clients as they see, as many loyal clients as they have, they're not walking out every time with a product or something like that that you just used on their hair,
Right.
this is a whole other conversation. But the fact of the
Yes.
matter is, retail space,
Make sure you have room for it.
make sure you have room for it.
100%. You want to make sure you have enough space. Some of these lines are massive that you're bringing in, and they might have a minimum that has to be on the shelf too. And we're talking luxury salons. So a lot of those luxury product lines, you have a buy-in, and these product lines are huge, right? So make sure you can accommodate it, and it shouldn't be jammed behind people where they can't see it. No, it should be staring them in the face. They have to see what you retail from the beginning, because that's what they ask questions on. This is what spawns the questions. And a lot of times then you don't even need to sell to them.
Right.
They will ask questions, and you can just, it just makes your job so much easier. I think, especially if you're a stylist that's like, I don't like selling. Well, it's not selling, for one, but if they're staring at it, they're going to ask questions like, what's that red bottle? What's that? And then you can pull it off and you can bring it right to them. And all you're doing is telling them the benefits of what it does.
Right.
It sells itself.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing with retail, is just, they want to know, they want to learn. You're helping them consult on the products that you just used on them. That's important. But like you said, beyond just the whole retail sales or retail success conversation, it's got to be visible. And I've seen it again in other salons where it's sort of knick-knacked everywhere. Yeah. And they don't have the focus. And I think we want to sell retail. We want that to be a big part of our business. But that's sort of where it falls, is we feel like we can usually make space or come up with a good concept for how to maximize the retail space. But it is easier, I think, to work in retail after you have some of the other major square footage things figured out. Yep. You can usually work a really nice design into the rest of that. And that's why we have that prioritized down there, because once you have committed to not having the break room space, you're done. Once you've committed to only having 2 shampoo bowls for 12 chairs, you're done. Maybe you squeeze another one in, but
more money. And if you want to do it right from the beginning and not have to pay later, and then also then you have to close down or you have to do something else, it's more expense. So we're trying to maximize all that at the beginning. And
right. Yep, that is very important. And again, that's why retail space fits into where it does. Well, awesome. I think, again, this is how we look at maximizing the retail space. I think that if you focus on these 6 areas and you really think through it, this all gets back into the salon strategy. But especially, I'd say our last couple of build outs, we've really done it right, and looking at how many of each of these things having the right amount, that just, it's created great upside for us, created in less than a few months, a full salon of stylists, a full salon of clients and loyal clients, incredible retail sales. All these things I think will help make people successful, even if they started from zero. I really do think that's the design.
And it grows really fast. Once you have these things in place from the beginning, it snowballs.
Yeah.
In a good way. So stylists hear about you, then more stylists want to come, and they're like, well, so-and-so, she left there, or she's going to the new salon, or whatever it is. And then the clients start coming because they hear about it too. You just keep getting the referrals, and it makes it so much easier to build your business in a fast way, in a good direction too. So
definitely,
you want to set yourself up for success and don't have the challenges that we might have had in some of our early salons. Like, this is why we're doing this, so that it just can take off.